Good morning, everybody. My name's Dawn. I'm the Reclusive Crafter, and today is Stash Busting Saturday. And I thought I'd kind of move away from the steampunk journal and do something a little bit different today, just to save you all getting bored. And with it being Stash Busting Saturday, I was looking yesterday to work out what I was going to do, and I was just looking around my room and what I've actually got. And what I've decided to do, please don't ask why I've got so many packs of cards. It was kind of a weird purchase, really. I did a journal, I think I've mentioned this before, for my daughter, who liked Alice in Wonderland as a kid. She's in her 40s, by the way. She's not a kid anymore, but I still did an Alice in Wonderland journal for her. But I intertwined it with Oliver as well. So I kind of combined the two. And because it was Alice in Wonderland, I needed some playing cards because I wanted to do some bits and pieces with playing cards. And I bought a whole box of them. So I'm not really sure why I did that. And then in addition to that, I also sort of inherited a couple of boxes as well, which are quite pretty designs, actually. So I thought today I would make use of some of these because they're just sitting in my stash. They never get used. So I'm going to be doing some altered playing cards and some little bits and pieces with that. So yeah, I've pulled out a few bits and pieces. I'm going to be using those because these two are already open, whereas these are still fully closed up. So I'm going to be using those too, and I'm just going to see where it takes me, really. So what I've got today, if you wanted to craft along and pause the video, I've got playing cards, I've got some tissue paper, and I wanted a newspaper print. And if you look very closely, Harry Potter fans will be mortified now because this is actually I love Harry Potter, by the way. I went to Harry Potter World, and when you purchase something there, they wrap what your purchase is up in this, or they did do when I went, in this tissue paper. And being a true crafter, I couldn't throw it away. And I've used it in a number of things, and I've used it in backings on photographs and things like that, which looks lovely. And I thought this would lend itself really nicely to today's little project. I won't be using, obviously, these bits, which aren't particularly in keeping with what I'm doing, but I am going to be using these little bits here. So yes, I'm going to be using that, which I think is lovely. I've got quite a lot of this in my stash, so I'm not too sad about using one little piece of it, so that'll be fine. Now I've also got these little filigree bits and pieces from Odd Die Cuts. Some of them I was gifted, some of them I was in a stash of craft stuff that I bought, and yeah, I don't think I've actually done any of these myself, to be honest with you. So these are all what I've acquired from other places. And then I thought, I've got the Maremi collage books, or some of them I've got. I haven't got all of them. I wish I could afford to buy all of them. They are beautiful. And I've cut out some little designs, some of the smaller designs that are just kind of card size, which I'm going to use for embellishing. So that's my plan. So I've picked out a few little bits and pieces that I think will work. So there's some little designs there that I'm going to try and make use of. And then what else have we got? We've got a brush, we've got a pair of scissors, we've got the inevitable glue. I like using the art glitter glue. I have got Nuvo. I'm desperate to use it, but I want to make sure I use all this up first, so I don't waste any. I got the Nuvo for Christmas with the little gun thing, which I'm really excited about using, but I'm trying to be really good and use up my older supplies first. And then I'm also going to be using some matte medium. So yeah, so let's just see how it goes. So that's kind of my plan. So let's make a start, and we'll see where we go from there, folks. Now then, this is probably going to get a little bit messy, so I have just done my little piece of art paper. I say art paper for those of you that frequent IKEA. They sell rolls of this stuff, and I think it was about £1 a roll. You get a huge roll. You could literally paper an entire room with it, and I think they sell it as kids' drawing paper actually, but I use it for when I'm doing stuff. And then when it gets to this sort of stage, which is lovely, isn't it, I actually use this for backing tags and things with, because yeah, I think it's beautiful. So that's kind of what I use all that for. So let's see, what am I going to do? I'm going to use some of these. I have got some ideas in my head. I'm not going to lie. I'm, as always, flying by the seat of my pants a little bit. I want to... I'll use those two. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how long all this will take. So, yeah, we'll just see how we get on. I kind of like the king. I've already used the queen out of here, or the Queen of Hearts, because I used that in the Alice in Wonderland journal I did, and I think I'll use that. I quite like those that go together really nicely, don't they? So I'm going to work with those to start with, and then we see how we go with that. Now I've chosen these because they've got nice backings, so when you've finished the first little bit, if you didn't want to cover the back, you wouldn't need to, but if you want to use them as little journaling cards, you could actually back them with some writing paper or coffee dyed paper or whatever, to colour the back of them. So yeah, so let's make a start and see how we get on. I think I will start with those ones, and now then the first one I want to do, make sure these are round the right way, because there is an up and a down to them. The first thing I want to do, I think I'm going to put the matte medium on first, because that will allow for the matte medium to dry a little bit while I'm doing other things. I've probably been a little bit overzealous there. I'm just moving, I don't know if you can see, I just want to move that over to the side of the paper so I don't get this all over the paper. I'm going to pop a little bit of matte medium on there, because what I want to do is to stick my stuff down. Now then, I want some of this, and I'm not being too particular about this. Let me get my bigger scissors out. Just going to cut off a little bit of this, and then it will hopefully just look like newspaper on there, which is what I'm hoping for. Oh, so I haven't said hi to anybody yet. I hope you are all well. I'm just going to scrunch this up on here a little bit, maybe not quite that much. Yeah, I hope you're all well and enjoying your weekend. I know it's only just started. Have you got any nice plans at all? Let me know in the comments, and if any of you have been following my videos recently, I'd love to hear what you think of them, because I'm always looking to improve and do things that you're interested in. It's, you know, there's no point in me sitting here doing these things if it's not something you're really interested in. Just going to pop a little bit more of that on there and get that crusty bit out of the way. We don't want that. Okay, so that's that one down. Now you can't, oops, there we go, just don't want to tear it, well, not yet anyway. I want to lift that off of there, because that's all very sticky. There we go. Right, I'm just going to leave that to dry a little second, and Do I want to do the inside of this one? I think I will. I think I'm going to do the inside of this one as well, because this is going to be the inside. Let me find a bit that hasn't got anything that might offend on here. There we go, that bit there will do. Sorry. If I'm out of shot, sorry, I'm just cutting a piece of tissue paper. There we go. Okay. There we are. Right. And then I'm going to do the same thing again on here. A little bit of matte medium. Doesn't take too long to dry, but the matte medium helps aid to take the shine off the card. You could, if you wanted to, if you don't have matte medium, you could use a sanding block just to take the top gloss off. That is an alternative. You don't have to use matte medium if you don't have any, so that's no problem if you don't. There are ways and means around these sort of thing. I'm just going to lift that up before that sticks down to the paper again. Just want to pop a little bit over the top of that. There we go. That crease there is probably a little bit too creasy. I'm just going to open that up a little bit. There we go. I still want to be able to see, or sort of see, the design underneath if I can. Not too much, but just so that there's a hint of the design underneath. Okay. Right then. So that's those on there for now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go away and dry these, and I will be back momentarily. Okay, we're back in the room, and I've just dried these off. I'm going to cut them to size. Now the other way of doing this is to use a sanding block. That works really well when you're doing this type of thing. I've just missed that there, so I'm going to go back and glue that in place in a moment. Just with a little bit of glue stick. My personal preferred glue stick is Yoo-Hoo, but use whatever you want to. Let me just get that out. Just missed a little bit there. So just going to stick that edge down there and there. Lovely. Just missed the edges a little bit, didn't I? But that's the... There we go. So that's that one. Now hopefully you can still see that that's the Queen of Spades under there. And I'll just show you how to do that with a sanding block, just in case you've not used sanding blocks before. So literally, if you haven't got a sanding block, nail file, emery board will do the job. This is a little bit noisy, and I don't like the sound of it, which is why I tend to cut it rather than sand it off. But as you can see there, I won't do it all. But there we go. So that gives you quite a nice finished edge there, which is lovely. So you can use a sanding block if you want to. That's the other alternative. And again, just cutting these out so that I can see where my edges are. That's that one. Now then, there's nothing unique about this idea. There are lots and lots of creators on YouTube that probably have done this before and do it in different ways. But I quite like the technique, and I quite like the fact that you can use lots of different media in it, which is really lovely. Again, although that's quite a heavy tissue paper and it's quite a heavy design, you can still hopefully see that that is the Ace of Spades behind there. So that's lovely. So I like those. Now what I'm going to do, I want to make this into kind of a little window type. Now then, I also need to get a little bit of acetate. I forgot about the acetate. Going to need some acetate because I want to, like I say, I want to make this into a little window tuck in, and this can be used to either, once it's finished, it can be used to tuck into a journal, or you could stick it in a journal. Like I say, if you put coffee dyed paper on the back of it, then it would be very easy then to use it as a journaling card. Just making sure that's all stuck down. Okay, little ruler and crafting knife. Make sure that's up the right way before I start cutting into it. Glasses are needed, as always. Well, they are for me anyway. I don't know about you guys. Right, I'm really sorry if I get my big head in the way, but I really do need to see where I'm cutting on this. And I don't want to be cutting on there, do I? Because I should cut through the paper. That would be silly, wouldn't it? Silly Billy. So, the weather at the moment is just delightful, isn't it? If you're in the UK, of course. We're getting some lovely spring-like weather at the moment, which is absolutely lovely. I'm hoping to get my videos done this morning so that I can spend some time in the garden this afternoon, which will be lovely. It'll be the first time this year, and hopefully there'll be lots more, especially now because I'm not working. I'll be able to spend a bit more time just chillaxing in the garden with a nice glass of wine. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Right, just going to make sure I am cutting through there. I am. I'm hoping you can see, and I'm hoping my head's not in the way, guys. I'm trying not for it to be, but I do need to see what I'm doing. There we go. I think I'm about there. I just need to make sure that I do cut all the way through. And I have. Lovely, jubbly, lovely. Okay, I also want to score that a little bit because it's going to be folded back. So I want to make sure that it folds relatively easily. I'm trying to make sure I get the score line where it needs to be. Oh dear, no, that's not going to work, is it? Because I'm tearing the tissue paper. I don't want to be doing that, do I? Oh dear. Let me just pop a little bit of glue over that. A little bit of a mend job. There we go. Okay, now hopefully I've scored that enough just to be able to fold that over. The idea being makes a little door. She says, not terribly impressed if I'm honest. Let's see if I can do it from this side. Howdy dude. That's a bit better. There we go. Okay, might have been better to actually do the door bit before I put the tissue paper on. Then I would have been able to get it white good. And I don't want to... just want to make sure that that crease is good and proper on there. There we go. I think that'll do. Got it in the right place, which is nice. Popping quite a bit of pressure on there. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera. Now I'm going to take it down that way as well. There we go. Okay. I've actually done that the wrong way around. I've done that upside down. Although, that's okay. We can always open it that way around, can't we? It doesn't need to... yeah, we can do it that way. That'll work. That's all right. I'm just wondering if I want to cover that. I'm not sure that I do, actually. I do like the design on that. You could, if you wanted to, decorate that. There'd be no issue with that. Right, what I want to do now is to pop on the acetate window. And to do that, I want to pop some glue around here. Just popping the glue around the edge. And putting my fingers in it as well. That was intelligent, wasn't it? Oh. I'll pop a bit more across that edge. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to pop my acetate across there. Pop it down. Like so. And then when you open that up, look, you've got a little window there. Cute, huh? Okay. Now I'm going to pop my lid on my glue before I forget. Because I'm really good at doing that. There we go. And cut this one out. Oh dear, excuse me sniffing. My hay fever has really started in a vengeance. I'm having to take nasal drops for it at the moment. But yeah, I'll be like this now right the way through the summer. So that's lovely, isn't it? Always a treasure. Okay, so that's my acetate window in. What is that there? Oh, I see. It's a little bit of the tissue paper. Let me just push that out of the way. Just going to use the back of the knife just to push that bit of tissue paper out of the way. There we go. Mop up in aisle 3. Lovely. Right. Okay, so that's that little bit done. Now I want to decorate the page. I'm going to just pop just a tiny little bit of distress ink just over the top, just to kind of take the whiteness away. There we go. That's all I wanted to do. Right, let me pull myself back together again. Okie dokie. Righty hosey. Now then, I want to choose my little design that I want on here. I have got these bottles which I think are very lovely, and I am going to just trim around some of these. I only want, yeah, I don't want all of them, so just gonna little bit of a trim, not too much, and I'm not being too pedantic about it. There we go. And then I'm going to come down and just cut that down there. That's nice, isn't it? And, oops, a daisy. Where's me? There it is. And again, I'm just going to knock back the white on this, which again is why it's ideal to work on the paper, because you're not having to keep stopping and starting, getting little bits and pieces out. Okay, so that's that. Now, I wanted that there-ish, and that kind of goes nicely around the ace there. And then I've also got, I think she's a darling, isn't she? Look at her. Isn't she just beautiful? And I thought I would pop her in there, maybe. Or I've got this little guy with his balloon. Oh, I've got this little guy with this balloon as well. No, he's too big. He's rather lovely, isn't he? I could bring those bottles down a little bit. I like him. Let me just pull him up off the ace. How does that work? Let me have a look, see through the windy. Right, okay, so I actually want to bring that down because that doesn't look right. So if I bring that one down to there and him down to there, maybe. Get the positioning right. I think that works, doesn't it? I want to bring those bottles up a little bit. Mind you, Mange 2, Rodney. I'm pulling that up. I don't like the fact I can see that base there. I wonder, will this little guy work better? No. I do like this one, I must admit. I like him. I think he's really lovely. And I think the pink goes nicely with the bottles. So I'm going to stick this down. Get my little glue book. I'm going to stick that down, but I'm going to blend in the base a little bit, hopefully, if it works, with a little bit of ink. Maybe. Mayhaps. Right, I actually want those up relatively high, although I'm saying that I don't want to cover the stoppers, do I? Good thinking, Batman. That's about, no, bring us to come down a little bit more. The positioning when you're doing these, especially if you do the window one, the positioning is quite important because you don't want to be hiding things behind the frame of the card, ideally. Where's my cloth? I don't rightly know. I've lost it. Oh no! Tragedy has struck. Oh dear, where's it gone? I'll get another one. Bear with. Here we go. Here's one I prepared earlier. I have a huge roll of this stuff sitting just behind me, luckily enough. There we go. Sorry if I'm shaking you again. Just need to make sure that that's not too dicky. Oh, I'm sticking on my blue glooby bit. Right then. Like that. Now what I'm going to do is, with my trusty... Do you know, I always have far too many bits on my desk. I can't see what the heck is going on. Right then. Now, I want to try and blend that in a little bit if I can. How does that look, Dawn? Oops, don't you fall down the back. Does that look fabulous? I think it might. So, pop that on there. Now then, I need to get the positioning of this right. Who knew that this could be so fiddly? I think that's nearly there. Just going to pop him up just a little bit higher. Are we nearly there yet? Okay, how does that look? Well, I think that just looks fabulous, darling. Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. Right, I'm just going to take some ink off of this because I did load it up quite heavily. And I just want to, just going to knock that whiteness back a little touch. Oh, oops. Sorry, I bent your balloon. There we go. Just a little bit. That's nice. And now I'm going to glue him on there. So, glooby-doo. Glooby-dum. Don't want to rip his balloon off. These are fiddly little bits to glue. But yeah, if you've not come across the Maremi books yet, I have mentioned them a couple of times in my videos. The designs are absolutely to die for. The books can be found on Amazon. I'm not affiliated. I've got no reason to promote these products at all, apart from the fact I really love them. I just think they're beautiful. Absolutely lovely. Some of the designs are just, well, all of them actually, are just to die for. Right, I want to just bring him just down very marginally. There we go. I want to make sure. And again, the beauty of using the glue stick is it does give you that wiggle room when you're wanting to place your bits and get them in. Oh, that's lovely. Love that. Okay, so I'm done. That's now exactly where I want it. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Loving that. There we go. I'm going to pop that on there. No, I'm not. I'm going to pop that on there. We decided, didn't we? Because we're going that way with it. Yeah, I went quiet then because I'm just thinking, I wonder if that might have been better if I'd have cut round there. But then by doing that, that makes that border too thin, doesn't it? So I'm almost inclined to cover this because I think that would actually look better. that side is perfect. Don't mind that at all. In fact, that could, it's almost a shame really to put coffee dye paper on there, but I do like that though. That's really cute, isn't it? So cute. Clean that off a little bit. Got my mucky fingers all over it. Give it a little bit of a polish. There we go. Okay. Now what I want to do before I stick that on there is I want to give it a little bit of a closure. I'm just wondering what I can use. Let me get these bits out of the way. Just wondering what I can use for a little closure. Let me look in my box of tricks and see what I've got. I have lots of boxes of tricks. Yum, yum, yum. What have we got in here? Let's have a look, see. Got some teeny weenies. Got some nice little brads in there. Let's have a look and see what they're like. Oh, cute. Look at that. Tiny, tiny little one. Oh, that's nice as well. I like that. But I wonder if that isn't too big. No, I'll pick that up in a minute. I just dropped it. Because I am a donut. Those are nice, aren't they? Do you think that goes with that? Well, that's what we're going to use anyway. Or, oh, little spotty one. That's cute. Right, I'm going to go with that one. Right, let me cut that there because I have a cunning plan. Don't want it too wide. Is that about right? That'll about do. Okay. And now, going to round that off. Glue it together. I don't think I'm going to have time to do more than one of these. I'm really sorry. I faff so much, don't I? It's such hard work. There we go. Okay, let me take the white bit off. Okay. Now, how will that look? That, I think, will be so much better. Now all I need to do is to get the awl in the right place, which is about there, I reckon. Okay. Push my sticky pokey thing through. Oh, that was jolly centrally done, Dawn. Well done. Good stuff. Right then. Let's try that again, shall we, folks? See what this looks like. Oh, do you know, I've just realised I'm even in shot. I'm sorry. Right, now that will come down there. Perfect. That looks so much better, doesn't it? I think so. I think that works much nicer. Good. Phew, got there in the end. Oh, don't you just love it? Right then. And now we're going to glue that down. Okay. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Right. All good fun, isn't it? I want a goodly amount of glue on there, and then just make sure he's up the right way. Gonna glue that onto there. Concentrating again, you can tell. Okay. Oh, it's squidging around all over the shops because of the acetate. I'm just hoping. Okay. Right. And that just needs a little bit of help to close just where that brad is. Just going to hold that just closed for a little minute, just while that glue goes off a little bit, just to make sure that that's where it needs to be. It's just going to take a little bit longer than perhaps normal because the acetate, obviously the glue's not sinking into the acetate, it's just sitting on top of it, so it will just take a little minute just to take while that goes off. Patience is a virtue, isn't it? Apparently. Okay, I'm going to trim that little bit there because that looks a bit untidy, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, looking good, she says. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to trim that bit, do I? That's my little doofer that I've just spent hours fiddling over. Clean that up. Clean that up. Got glue all over it. Now then, there we go. Okay, right, I think that's just about taken. Open it up, and there's our little boy. And you can just make out the Queen of Spades in there. Just make that out. He's lovely, isn't he? And what we could also do, just to finish him off, maybe just put a little bit of something. I don't know if you can see, there's a little pot of flowers just there, just under his balloon. I was just thinking maybe just taking these few little bits of leaves and popping them there. That looks kind of cute, doesn't it? Or are they too big, do you think? Oh. Quite like it. Maybe pop those two in that one. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Let me just take that off there. Pop a tiny little drop of glue on these. Like that. And pop that up there. And then I'm just going to pop these down in the other little corner, just to give it a little bit of extra dimension. There we go. Okay. And there we have it. So I'm going to close that up. There we go. That's the other side. Like I say, you can, if you want to, cover that with some coffee dyed paper, and that would give you a nice little journaling spot there if you wanted to put it into a journal. And then you open up and you've got your little boy there. Gorgeous, isn't it? And then you can just make out that that is actually the Queen of Spades there. There we go. There, little altered playing card. So I hope you like it. I'll let you get on with your Saturday, and I will see you all again for Mishmash Monday. So see you all soon, guys. Thanks so much for your time today.